Dungeons & Dragons is more than just a game. It's a portal to endless possibilities. It's where you and your players can step away from the mundane and dive into a world filled with magic, danger, and adventure. But every great journey needs a world to call home. Building one might seem daunting, but don't worry, I'm here to make it simple. In this video, we will break down the essentials for world building, giving you the tools you need to create a setting that is ready for your adventure. Whether it's your first time building a world or just want to get back to the basics, this guide will have you covered. When creating a world map for D&D, the first thing you need to ask yourself is, how big does it need to be? A world map doesn't have to mean the entire world. It's simply the area where the story will take place. Whether that's a sprawling continent, a single country, or even just a cluster of islands. Of course, if your story spans the whole globe, go for it. But most adventures don't need that much area. First things first, you want to create your outline. There are lots of fun ways to design the shape of your map. A popular method is dropping rice on a piece of paper and tracing the outline. But one of my personal favorites is to base it loosely on something recognizable. For example, your map could look like the dragon's head, or a beholder, or even something simple like a boot, similar to Italy. This makes the map feel a little more unique and fun. But how realistic you want to be is completely up to you. Step 2 is to add key features. Once you have your outline, it's time to add the essentials: mountains, rivers, forests, deserts, and lakes. But there are some basic rules you need to keep in mind. For mountains, they are rarely singular. They typically form in ranges or clumps. However, breaking this rule intentionally can create a striking point of interest on your map, like the Lonely Mountain from The Hobbit. For rivers, remember they always flow from the high ground, like mountains, to low ground, where the oceans are. A common beginner mistake is drawing rivers that split, but rivers do not do that. They join together instead. For lakes, you can have multiple rivers flowing into it, but usually one flows out. But you can always have a standalone lake that relies completely on rain and evaporation, though these are rare. Moving on to forests and deserts, they are influenced by mountains. Here is the science. When moist air from the ocean hits the mountain range, it gets squeezed, causing it to rain on one side, creating forests. On the other side, the air is dry and often forms a desert. Now, these rules can be broken if you're feeling brave. You can make a forest spring up in the middle of a desert because a nature god blessed the people. Or make a river split in half because a wizard wanted half of the water to flow to his mage tower. Get creative with it. This is a fantasy world after all. But how interesting is the world without those beloved DM NPCs? Sure, you've got your mighty kings, your mysterious wizards, and your quirky shopkeepers. But where are they from? Every character needs a home base, and for that, we need settlements. Let's dive into the why, as in, why do people build their town here? No town just pops up randomly. Well, unless you have some chaotic god of urban planning. But typically there's a reason why humans, dwarves, elves, or any race decide to plop their village, city, or trading post in a specific spot. So let's break down the 10 best reasons for your settlement to exist. Number 1, and the most common, is access to water. It's a classic. Where there is water, there is life. Rivers, lakes, streams, you name it. Fresh water is vital for drinking, farming, and trade. Rivers especially make great highways for trade. And if the town has no river, wells and springs work really well. But let's be real, the vibe's not the same without a bustling dock or ferry crossing. Number 2 is fertile land. If the crops don't grow, the people won't stay. Fertile soil is the key of any settlement. And in a bonus, fertile lands normally sprout forests, which means wood for fires and good place for hunting. Number 3 is a defensive position. Nobody wants their village to be flattened by a local warlock or raided by goblins every Tuesday. Settlements often spring up where the terrain has their back. Hills and cliffs are perfect for spotting enemies. Mountains or dense forests, great natural barriers. Flat plains with no cover, congratulations. You've built the perfect settlement for goblins to raid. Number 4, proximity to trade routes. Trade routes are the lifeblood of any thriving settlement. If merchants can't reach your town, your NPC shopkeepers are going to have a very boring inventories. So some towns can just pop up in key river crossings, bridges, or essential river ports. Number 5, resource availability. Resources make the world go round. Settlements thrive near valuable minerals like stone, clay, timber. And don't even get me started on salt. Yes, salt, it's a game changer for food preservation and trade. Need a booming economy? Add a nearby mine or abundant fishing waters. Number 6, climate and shelter. Comfort matters. No one is settling in a place where the crops freeze every winter, or the wind tries to knock over every building you build. Find the sweet spot with mild weather and natural shelter. Unless you're building a hardy, frost-bitten frontier town for hardy adventures. In that case, carry on. Moving on to number 7, we're talking about social and religious factors. People love a good community and good pilgrimage. Lots of towns often grow around religious sites or expand from older village. A monastery, a secret grove, or a famous shrine could turn a remote area into a bustling hub. Number 8 is political and administrative reasons. Nothing says prime real estate like a lord wanting a castle nearby. Number 9, travel and exploration opportunities. Some settlements are stepping stones into the unknown. Ports, caverns, or military outposts can be the perfect starting point for exploration, or the end of the road for travelers who couldn't resist the local tavern. And finally, number 10 is avoiding hazards. This one's pretty self-explanatory, but smart settlers steer clear of dangerous zones. No one builds in floodplains or mosquito-infested swamps unless they're desperate or very confident in their bug spray. And if you need a good side quest, maybe the settlement used to be safe, but now the swamp is expanding. And there you have it, the basics of world building, and some simple rules you can think about when making your world more believable. Whether you're creating towering mountains, winding rivers, or bustling settlements. Remember, this is your world, and anything is possible. From magical forests in the deserts, rivers that split by wizards' whims. Get creative and let your imaginations soar. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more D&D tips and world building wisdom. Share your world building ideas in the comments. I'd love to hear what you're creating.